Today's episode is brought to you by the book Everyone is a Sinner But Me, available now at Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com. Live from Volpus Studios is the MCS1 show featuring Caleb Heller and now your host, MCS1.
Welcome everyone to an amazing edition of the MCS1 show. I'm MCS1, once again joined by my favorite compadre, Caleb Hennon.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Happy to have you, Caleb.
Aww.
So,
really?
Yeah, duh. So we discussed something really interesting last week. We discussed 2017 New Year's resolutions and why New Year's resolutions are a complete and utter joke.
Oh yeah, it's a complete crock. But I mean, just listen to that episode, you'll get it.
Duh. And obviously by that statement of us calling it a complete crock, you clearly agree because you're listening to the show.
Absolutely.
Duh.
And if you don't agree, get off our channel.
Get off our channel.
Unless, I mean, we are accepting endorsements.
We're accepting endorsement. We're gonna turn away the few people that listen. I'm just kidding. We love everyone that listens. Oh man. Interesting enough. Since migrating all of our stuff over, we found out we've had a larger audience than we thought, which is actually really cool. So
yeah, I mean, it's obviously amazing news.
It's really cool. So hey, everyone at home, thank you for listening,
and thank you for making 2017 already better
than
2016.
Because let's be real, everyone, 2016 was the worst.
Worst.
Or was it?
Oh my gosh.
That's something we're about to discuss today.
What?
Is how terrible 2016 quote was.
Yeah, it's such a funny thing.
And here's the thing about that. I originally wasn't going to do anything about this. I was going to leave 2016 in 2016.
Seriously?
Which I was hoping a lot of other people were going to do, specifically my Facebook friends.
Yeah, that's never going to happen, and you know it.
Exactly. And I'm not going to lie. We're still about, I don't know, about a week-ish in to 2017, and people are still whining about 2016.
Yeah, it's like, okay, guys, just it's over.
It's over.
It happened.
We get it.
Yeah.
It's done.
The problem is that people don't seem to be able to let things go.
No, they do not. Not with this especially. And so since they're not letting it go, we're not letting it go either. And we're going to do the opposite of Frozen, and we're going to bring it back.
And bring it back. Bring it back. I don't sing that one.
Yeah, I don't either. Let's talk about 2016 and why it was the worst. Year
quote
ever.
Unquote the worst year of all time.
The worst year of all time.
The
I mean,
worst.
So was it the worst year of all time? I don't think so. Who was it the worst year for though? I'd say the social justice warriors.
Oh, absolutely.
Who we constantly discuss on this show.
Who we mostly make fun of.
Who mostly make fun of. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. And the thing about them is they're just so upset about this. It's like, well, why was this such a bad year for them? Well, Trump won.
Show over.
Yeah, I want to thank
roll
my
credits.
guest Caleb. And no, just kidding.
But that seriously was like the worst thing that could have happened.
That was the worst thing.
Yeah,
Trump won, and it basically, pun slightly intended, they got trumped.
Oh, they did,
and they got trumped hard. And just that alone is enough to upset them on why it was a terrible, crappy year. A few other things did happen, though, in the schemes of social justice.
Yeah.
The triggering happened, which we talked about.
Which was amazing.
To Caleb.
I mean,
Trigglypuff.
Just there were just so many... it wasn't amazing in and of itself, but the reactions to it were just so great. I mean, especially Trigglypuff.
Oh,
I mean, if Trigglypuff happened by herself and no one reacted, honestly, well, first of all, I wouldn't know about it. Yeah, when she did that reaction at UMass or whatever, yeah, it was UMass.
UMass.
That reaction to Crowder and Summers and Yiannopoulos and all that, it was just like, how did you not know you were going to become an internet sensation?
Yeah, I mean, it's just bound to happen in the age of smartphones and every jerk just turning it on and filming a movie.
Exactly. And honestly too, I mean, the thing that she had to understand, and pun slightly intended here too, she did become like the largest meme of that month. You know?
Oh man. So yeah, I mean the triggering happened, a couple other small things, but it was mostly political stuff.
Yeah, which is kind of honestly, it's kind of annoying to me.
It's really annoying because
Yeah.
let's talk very briefly about the political stuff. It's Trump won, and the Republicans won the House and the Senate.
Right.
Big losses
Right.
for the Dems, big losses for liberals. And here's what really also
And big losses for social justice warriors.
big,
you know?
huge loss for social justice warriors. And here's what is upsetting me a lot about politics and the social justice warriors and just society in general. Our show, we don't discuss politics.
Well, I mean, we want to shy away from it.
Yeah, we do. The problem is this country just started taking all of its social issues and merging them into politics and making
Yeah.
them political issues. And it's ridiculous how much it's been done. Because people will come up to me and they'll be like, I listen to your show. You talk about some pretty political stuff. No, it's not political. This isn't C-SPAN. I'm not Dennis Miller
satire.
Live.
It's satire.
Yeah,
You know?
we're talking about social issues
And society.
and counterculture. We're not discussing politics, our political views,
Yeah, yeah.
or anything of that nature.
We try to shy away from that, but this year it just felt like we couldn't.
Yeah, we
Or
couldn't
sorry,
get
last year. Last year. it
Yeah,
felt like we
last year
couldn't.
we could not, and so that kind of made it a bad year for us. I mean,
Sure.
not
But-
really a bad year because content-wise, it was amazing.
Yeah.
But
Def-
being able
Definitely,
to
it was amazing content.
but being able to separate those out, that was hard
It was, dude. It was.
and ridiculous, and it shouldn't have to be that bad.
No, I mean, and
And it was an election year, so
Sure,
granted that
sure.
probably did not help.
well, especially because it was, not just a presidential election year, but obviously with the House and the Senate having, their elections and everything. And it was just like, well, I mean,
Let's
it's-
just throw it all in the ring.
yeah, it's just one of those years.
Yeah, seriously. And so another thing that probably upset social justice warriors while we're slightly on political stuff, Bernie didn't get the nomination.
Right.
So that's like the social justice failings of 2016. And another thing why 2016 was so bad was the celebrity deaths. I still stand by my principle on this. I don't think there were more celebrity deaths or even deaths in 2016. I just think it was being reported more.
Yeah, and I mean, really, the only death that mattered was, and may he rest in peace, Harambe.
Harambe.
Yes.
Yes.
Let's have a 2-second silence for Harambe.
I'll edit that in,
Okay.
maybe. But yeah, so Harambe was a big one. And another thing that was actually really sad about 2016 was Carrie Fisher,
Yeah.
Princess Leia.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That actually was sad, but that didn't happen till the end.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the very very end, and that is one I.
And that is one I'm kind of sad about, and a lot
Yeah,
of Star Wars
yeah.
fans are. But let's also be real on something. No one really listened to David Bowie
No.
until
Until he died.
until he died.
And then all of a sudden, everybody was his
A
biggest
huge
fan. All
fan.
of a
Oh
sudden.
yeah, totally.
Same thing with Prince.
Yeah, same thing with
Yeah,
Prince.
I mean, I challenge most people on the show. I challenge you to name 2 Prince songs right now that you listen to and
I
like.
can't. Oddly enough, I've listened to Prince, his bassist. I've listened to her solo stuff.
She was phenomenal.
Yeah, more than I've listened to Prince because I haven't listened to any Prince stuff.
Yeah.
And then David Bowie, I could honestly say I've heard one David Bowie song, which is Heroes.
Mhm.
Heard it once. But I mostly heard one other song, I guess, is collaboration with Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails, I'm Afraid of Americans.
Sure.
Those two, but I mostly listen to people covering David Bowie stuff.
Sure. And I mean, the number one. The funny thing is that the number one David Bowie song that I really enjoy is actually a Queen song, "Under Pressure." It's
So-
like
So you're listening to the
so-
David Bowie covering stuff. I'm listening to people covering
Yeah.
David Bowie stuff.
Yeah, and it's just it's not to say that I don't like David Bowie. I mean,
No, of course not.
because
I
I mean,
think he's, from what I've heard, very little or whatever.
Yeah,
Great
yeah.
artist.
and honestly, he the thing that I remember David Bowie from more than his music is Labyrinth, that movie.
Yeah,
back in the
seriously,
day.
I remember
Yeah.
Labyrinth more than the music.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting thought. I don't know if this is true. Heard this from our good friend Shane Barker.
Love you, Shane.
Love you, Shane. But he said that Michael Jackson was originally supposed to play the Goblin King.
Really?
I would love to see Michael Jackson,
That would
grabbing children in the middle of the night and
Yeah.
abducting them and taking them away to a special land. That
Yeah.
would be
I mean,
a
that
little
happened
close
enough.
to home.
And it happened. Well, I mean, it happened enough in real life that they wouldn't even. They could have just used stock footage.
They could.
Um,
lot of celebrity deaths. 2016, such a terrible year.
But really, like you said, man, it didn't really, to me at least, it didn't really feel like there was more. I think they were just paying closer attention to it.
Yeah, exactly. And hearing about how this is such a bad year, I wonder, people are like, oh, it's the worst year ever. Is it? What about the Great Depression?
Yeah, or like any of the wars of the last 100 years.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of bad stuff
I
and
mean,
bad years that have happened.
yeah,
I mean,
the people in 19 friggin' what was it, 1941 that got bombed at Pearl Harbor, pretty sure they'd disagree with you.
yeah, exactly.
What about 2001, the 9/11 attacks?
Yeah.
What about polio and the influenza virus killed 2 million people?
I mean, there are so many other bad years, but then we're equating this back to, social justice warriors.
Yeah,
They're just so upset.
minute things. If that's not if last year being the worst year ever isn't the perfect definition of first world problems, I don't know what is.
But the social justice warriors, I got to give them this. They went out with a good bag for 2016.
Oh yeah.
So here's what they did. This is priceless. Caleb, what do you think of when you think of MTV?
MTV Now or MTV in the 80s?
Let's say both.
Okay, well in the 80s it was music videos,
Yeah.
stuff about artists,
Yeah.
and that stretched over into the 90s a little bit.
Yeah. So when I think of MTV is I think of it in 2 decades just like you do. I think of it like the 90s, like I think of Nirvana being on there. 'Cause Nirvana was
That was
on
yeah.
there a ton. I
Mhm.
think of Celebrity Deathmatch.
Dude,
I know Celebrity
Celebrity
Deathmatch,
Deathmatch
right?
was amazing.
Beavis and Butthead. And then I think of the MTV reality era that came
Oh man, yeah, like
with
didn't they
Teen
do,
Mom,
yeah,
16 and Pregnant.
did they do Big Brother or was that CBS?
That was CBS that did
Okay,
Big
never mind.
Brother, and then obviously Jersey Shore,
Dude.
which I will admit I have seen Jersey Shore season 1.
Oh boy.
Um,
I watched like a 5-minute clip once and I'm pretty sure that I contracted cancer.
man, so interesting thought about it. I felt really smart and dumb after watching season 1
Sure.
because you feel really smart because you're smarter than those people on the screen,
Easily.
but you feel really dumb because you're exposed to them.
And you spent time
Watching
observing
it.
them. Yeah. Yeah.
One day I'll get around to season 2.
Oh no. When you do, please shoot me a postcard
I'll let you know.
from the asylum.
So those are what I think of when I think of MTV. But now it's moved into social justice,
Big time.
like big time.
Yeah.
And so I haven't been watching TV for years. Most of the stuff I watch is on the internet or on Netflix or Amazon Prime, pretty much.
Yeah. That's the beauty of streaming TV.
Yeah, I know. It's wonderful. VidAngel, that's the big one. Just kidding. Oh, I hope you lose in court. But no, like that's the beauty of technology now is there's so much out there that I don't have to watch MTV. But MTV now sucks. It turned into a social justice cesspool. And at the very end of the year, they decided on December 19th, they were going to stick it to the white man. So what they did was they put on Twitter, hey, white guys, we came up with some New Year's resolutions for you. And, when I first heard about this post, I'm like, man, it better be about going to the gym, or it better be like buy some new Dockers
Yeah.
or something, or shut up a little bit more about the country club and tennis.
Yeah.
But
Tuck your shirt in a little bit more
yeah,
evenly.
I thought it was going to be stuff that applies to me because I'm white.
Yeah.
Not because I'm a white, quote, bigot, hater, or whatever.
See, that's the funny thing is that they didn't specify on that either. They were just like, hey, white guys, you're awful. Be better.
Yeah, seriously. And so with this this post, it linked to a video. And this video was a bunch of people, like, I felt like they were in their late 20s, early 30s. And it was all talking about these New Year's resolutions, just like social justice warrior based. And the best part about it is I pictured all these interns, like in their late 20s, early 30s, sitting around in the break room being like, yeah, man, I haven't really done much with my life, but I got this killer idea.
Let's make a video.
We're going to make a video, and it's going to be about what white people should do. And they're like, yeah.
Did it.
And so these these interns in like their early 30s, late
Yeah.
20s,
Yeah.
still trying to do something with their lives. They came up with these great New Year's resolutions, and
But not for themselves.
not for themselves, but for other people. And
Which right off the bat, that just seems super pretentious.
yeah, and
Like, I'm not gonna do any resolutions for myself. I'm gonna do them for you, which
Yeah.
feels even worse.
yeah,
Like what we talked about last week, is just New Year's resolutions at all.
But it starts off with and this video has mostly non-white people in it. Starts off with non-white male says, "It's about to be a new year." And then another person who's not white, and he's like, "And there's a few things we think you could do a bit better in 2017." And so it says like
Right
the
off the
headline
bat, dude.
right off the bat, it says resolutions for white guys.
I mean, right off the bat, it just feels like, oh, cool. Thanks for talking down to us.
Yeah, and it's like, first off, recognize that America was never great for anyone who wasn't a white guy.
Oh boy.
So I got some issues with this. Like I was
I have a few as well.
yeah, I think everyone does. I think I can sum this up pretty quick though. So I don't have a car. I use Uber quite a bit.
Sure.
And I just love that Uber is a thing. A lot of the Uber drivers that I get are people who were not originally born in the US.
Sure.
And I got one the other day who was just telling me, he's like, "Man, so happy to be in this country. I can work. This is great." Talking about how awesome it is just to work and drive for Uber. He's like, "I make my own hours. I do my own thing. I meet lots of nice people." And it's like,
Sounds like it's
man,
pretty great.
it sounds pretty great to me.
Yeah.
And that's just one guy saying that right there who was not white.
And I mean, I'm sure you probably didn't ask him, hey man, do you think America's great?
Yeah, I really did it. But I'm pretty sure he's kind of enjoying it.
Yeah.
As do a lot of the other Uber drivers that I've seen that I talked to. And they've all been awesome. Like I've never really had a bad Uber driver. They've all been friendly.
Nice.
And granted, I've had some that aren't from the US. I've had some that were born raised in Utah. I get a good mix of people, but it's cool because there's literally opportunity, and they wanted that, they seized that, and they worked for it, and they're happy with it. And
Yeah.
I think that's kind of cool,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Honestly, that right there is a pretty good example of America being pretty great for someone.
Yeah,
You know?
who isn't white?
Yeah.
And so, and then it moves on talking about the classic BLM, Black Lives Matter. Can we all just agree that Black Lives Matter isn't the opposite of all lives matter? Black lives just matter. There's no need to overcomplicate it. And this is like, I feel like
Well-
this statement overcomplicates it. And then, another thing, Blue Lives Matter, is it a thing? We're having one thing, quote,
Yeah.
pop up for Black Lives Matter, and we're not trying to create like a racial issue here, but it's saying, hey, these lives matter for this subgroup of people.
Right.
And so we say another one,
Another
for
subgroup, yeah.
another subgroup of people who happen to be police officers,
Yeah.
saying their lives matter.
Yeah.
And we're not trying to make this about race. And then it says, and this is from a black guy, cops weren't born with blue skin, right? I mean, yeah, they weren't born blue. Well, that's not the point of it. The point
Yeah.
is like a subculture.
Well, and not only is it a
To-
subculture, but it's just that, I mean, police officers, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong on this one, but police officers seem to be from all walks of life,
Yeah.
all different racial profiles and things like that. So, pretty sure that again, like you were saying, it's just a distinction of a subculture.
Exactly.
And it's blue lives because of the whole historically blue was the color of police
Exactly.
officers.
Just like nurses wore white.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Soldiers wore green. It's that type of thing with the uniform. And interesting enough, like I've worked with, oddly enough, this is really crazy. I've worked with a lot of police officers because I did back at when I worked at community college when I was an RA, we would patrol with the cops.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And then while working in housing,
right.
I worked
I
with
can definitely see how that would happen.
cops,
Yeah.
and so it happens quite a bit. And I've never really had any issues
Yeah.
with them at all.
Yeah, I mean,
or anything. But like my thing is like a lot of these guys I worked with, I mean, there's always going to be like a bad apple in the
Sure.
bunch.
but they're just regular guys.
They're just regular guys, and they were, a lot of them were really cool. And the thing that kind of upsets me is like, well, blue lives don't matter. It's like, well, these are people who were my friends that I
Yeah.
worked with. They're pretty great,
Yeah.
and like to say they don't matter kind of upsets me. And I can say the same for Black Lives Matter as well, because I have Black friends.
Yeah,
And it's like to say their lives matter. That's important to me too.
sure,
So
sure.
I'm kind of like, I get the Black Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter, all lives matter. But the thing is, to me, it's like, I feel like everyone's life matters.
Absolutely.
And they're trying
Absolutely.
to promote this subculture of it. But the thing that upsets me about the subculture is saying other subcultures don't matter
Yeah. Well,
with that group. And that's what really
Right.
upsets me. Moving back to my point where I said I have Black friends. They said on here, nobody who has Black friends says they have Black friends. So I guess I should have mentioned that a while ago.
Oh, right. Whoops.
I apologize to all my Black friends that I don't have
Apparently.
out there.
Sorry, guys.
And like, here's the thing, I don't bring that up in conversations like, oh, I have
Yeah,
Black
well,
friends or whatever.
I
But in
mean-
that specific instance, obviously I'm going to. But for other people,
It's not like you're doing CrossFit or something. It doesn't just come up because you want it to come up all
oh
the
my
time.
gosh, seriously, CrossFit
You know,
and veganism.
I mean, having Black friends isn't like being in CrossFit. You know, you don't just like walk up to people, hey, guess what? I have Black friends. And then they probably look at you funny and be like, well, are you doing CrossFit though? Because there's no other reason for you to be announcing this. You know?
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. But and then it says, and just because you have Black friends doesn't mean you're not racist. You could be racist with Black friends. And it's like,
That's-
I think if you were racist, you wouldn't have Black friends.
I mean, that defies the definition of being a racist.
Yeah, it's like,
I mean,
if
at least
I
racist
hated,
against Black people.
if
you
I
know?
hated someone like based on their race, I don't think I'd be friends with them.
With
'cause
any
it-
one of them.
Yeah.
There's no reason to be.
Yeah, and then here was another thing. We all love Beyonce, and yeah, she's Black, so of course she cares about Black issues. Okay, fair,
Okay.
not a big deal.
I don't like Beyonce, but
Yeah,
I'm just saying, like,
Yeah,
I'm just not a fan.
yeah,
I don't care about her either way. I just don't like listening to her music.
yeah, exactly. And then it says, "I'm talking to you, Fox News," and it's like, good for you.
Yeah, you guys took a stance against the most hated news network.
I know.
Congrats.
I know. Seriously.
Just jumped on that bandwagon real quick, didn't you?
Oh man, yeah. And then it says, "Feel free to take Kanye though. You guys can have him." And then this show the Black guy gets, "You know what you did, Kanye?
Yeah, but what did he do?
Well, he hung out with President-elect Trump."
Oh yeah, his bad.
Like I feel like that's trading him over racially. It
Yeah,
reminds
that's
me
silly.
of the Dave Chappelle skit
Oh yeah.
where they're trading races with different people, like Condoleezza Rice is switching over.
Yeah.
And like going white. It's like
that was so
it's
funny.
like that, but he made that as a joke. These kids are serious.
Yeah, and when it's like okay, so what you're saying is that if he's Black, he can't hang out with Trump?
Yeah, that seems really racist.
That seems pretty. Yeah, I was gonna. That seems pretty racist to me.
Yeah.
A little racist.
Little
You know, and it's kind of like, I mean, Kanye hung out with Obama too all the time.
Here's
He did fundraisers for Obama.
Here's the thing
know?
about Kanye. This is probably one of the least crazy things he has done
Oh yeah.
ever.
Oh yeah.
And you're upset about it? Like, what do you want him to do? Like, I don't know, light a cat on fire?
I mean,
And then start petting it and be like, man, check out this bird and baby. Or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
just-
He's nuts.
I mean, and like you said, man, he is crazy. He's just
He's so
an
crazy.
insane individual. I honestly have no idea what's going on in that guy's head ever.
I don't think he does. And
Yeah.
to me, that's the beauty of Kanye.
Yeah.
And I don't even listen to the guy.
No, I definitely don't listen to his music, but I do follow him on Twitter because it's hilarious.
I think my favorite Kanye thing he's ever said is, "I'm gonna fix wolves," which I am still waiting for.
Dude, so do you watch 30 Rock at all?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so there was this thing back in the day, and you should look this up later, where they were like, if you put Liz Lemon at the end of all the tweets that Kanye puts out, he sounds just like Tracy Jordan from 30 Rock from
Oh,
from,
that's
from 30 Rock.
genius.
I was just like, oh, and so and they had like this big long example
Oh my
of,
gosh.
of just like
I'm
random
gonna fix
tweets.
wolves, Liz Lemon.
Yeah, and it's just like it's
Oh.
so perfect.
Back to this
This lovely video.
this lovely
Oh
video.
my gosh.
Here was another one. Learn what mansplaining is and stop doing it.
But how can we learn when you don't explain? I mean, sorry. How can we learn when you don't woman-splain?
Oh boy. Another one on here. I think we covered that pretty well. Oh, and if you're a judge, don't prioritize the well-being of an Ivy League athlete over a woman he assaulted. Okay, that's
I'm actually with him on that.
yeah. I think
You know,
everyone is with them on that.
I literally don't think that there's like I really don't think there are very many people in America that are like, well, he should have gotten off easy. Nobody.
Nobody.
Honestly,
Yeah,
if you think that, and if you are listening to the show and you really do think that he should have gotten off or whatever, you're kind of a terrible person.
yeah. That's a terrible thing. So here was another thing about this. Um, someone said on here, stop bragging about being woke. And then another, and it was a
Oh my
white guy that
gosh.
said this. And I wonder if these New Year's resolutions apply to all the white people in this video.
Yeah, maybe. It must. They
I don't
must.
know. And then it says another guy pops up. He says, "Stop saying woke." And I'm there, and I'm like, I'm listening to this. I'm like, what does this word even mean?
Yeah,
I've never heard this word in my life. Like, I have no friends that say this, much less white friends that say this at
yeah,
all. So I didn't even know the definition of this. I learned a new word from this video.
yeah.
Hooray!
Woke.
So, what does this word mean? Well, we went to the
The Urban
Urban
Dictionary.
Dictionary,
The ultimate
the
source of
ultimate source
The
of
knowledge.
ultimate source
knowledge.
of knowledge.
And we looked up what woke means. It says being woke means being aware, knowing what's going on in the community, relating to racism and social injustice. Person one, stop bringing racism into everything. Person two, you clearly not woke. And then it's like hashtag Black Lives Matter.
It's really funny though that they're pinning that on white people for saying that when clearly, at least according to the Urban Dictionary, which by the way is the number one reference thing in everything, and don't quote me on that, but it's
It is on this
definitely
show at
yeah.
least.
Um, but it's like it sounds to me like the person that would be saying woke is not white.
Yeah. Which is probably why they're trying to have white people stop saying
Yeah.
it, or white
It's
males
probably because it's
specifically.
their thing and they wanted to keep it, kind of like how Homer wanted to keep, what was it on the Homer's phobia episode? He's like, "You took our manliest name, like Lance and Julian and
Oh yeah.
Bruce." Remember- oh, and then after that, he was like, "You made him so queer,
Queer. That was
queer,
it.
queer." And then he was like, "Yeah, and that's another thing. That's our word for making fun of you. We need it." It's like that's kind of what I feel like is going on in this situation. Where
Oh
it's like,
yeah.
okay, so we can't say woke because we're white.
Oh
But the thing
man.
is I'm like, I don't even say this. I don't even like honestly.
This is my first time hearing this word.
I had an idea of what woke meant before this, just because of a lot of the stuff that's gone on over the year or whatever, and
Uh-huh.
a lot of it too relates back to just. I think the first time I heard it was actually related back to Harambe, and then
Oh.
I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I can understand what that means now.
You woke,
Um,
bro?
Yeah, and they're like, you woke to the Harambe conspiracy, and I was like, what the heck does woke mean?
Woke up, I guess.
It must
Like people
be,
woke up
must
to
be.
fake news.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
get into that
Oh my
eventually.
gosh, yeah.
So
But yeah, it's just like I don't know that I honestly before this show, I don't think I'd ever used the phrase "I'm woke"
I'm gonna
ever.
start using it on the show just to upset this group of MTV
You should get a soundbite for it.
interns. I probably will. I'm gonna place an order for one. So this video ends with you know, a bunch of interns saying, "Look, guys, we know no one's perfect, but," and then it goes to another person. "But in all honesty, you can do a little bit better in 2017." It's like, wow, thanks to like call out someone.
Yeah, it's like that's just an immense level of passive aggressive right there, man.
I know.
That is just like, oh, cool.
But the same girl, she's like, well, a different girl says, "Some of you guys do a great job. Some of you don't." It's like, what a
Okay.
statement.
I mean,
But the girl who says this, it looks like she's upset that she never got asked to prom, and she
yeah.
just sits around just in a room stewing, listening to Anita Sarkeesian videos or something. Like that's how she looks.
She's clearly woke to
Yeah,
her
she's
to her issues.
of feminism or whatever else, social
Yeah.
justice. And then it ends with this wrap up for every social justice warrior for 2016. Please, because 2016 was bad. 2017 can't be worse than this. All right? Because this is bad. Sigh.
Wow.
Mic dropped. Like, this is bad. Like, it can't get worse, can it? It's bad.
Drop.
What a bad way to end a video.
Yeah.
And
I
so
mean,
the backlash MTV has received has been hilarious. They
Oh,
took down the tweet. I'm pretty sure they took down the video. I can't find it on YouTube from actual MTV. You
Yeah.
find it from everyone else.
literally everyone else has
Yeah,
it though. So we're
but the
good.
damage has been done.
Yeah. Well, and it's just honestly, I mean, what did they think would happen?
I know. Like,
You know?
I wonder if they thought like white people would be watching this, like white males, and they're gonna be like, man, I'm adding this to the list.
I mean, honestly, the only people that are going to watch that as a white guy and look at that and say, "Oh yeah, I should do all of those things," are other social justice warriors.
Yeah, and
who are
so
probably already trying to do those things. The
yeah,
rest of us are just gonna just blatantly reject this and say, "What the
what's
heck?
your deal?
Why do you get to tell me what to do?"
I wasn't even saying this word until now.
Yeah, I don't even know what woke is.
Oh man. Well, that's our show. I'm glad that you all were able to woke up to 2017. I want to thank Caleb for coming on.
Absolutely.
And so next time, take care of yourself and each other. Peace.
Thank you for listening to the MCS1 Show. For big episodes of society, culture, and pretty much everything pop politics and sports, subscribe on iTunes or Google Play. For regular updates, head to the MCS1Show.com.